What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2am in Sweden. I'm your solo host of the day, Hayes at AO Shifty, and we're going to get into a lot of things. So, you're probably going to notice a bunch of different things are looking different. Number one, I got to use this camera and this computer because the other one's just not working. So, RIP to that. I'll get it all figured out and taken care of by the time next episode comes around. But hope everyone's doing well. There's a lot that we're going to end up talking about. First, you notice I don't have my co-host for today. He's not feeling well, so Steven, get better. But he did give me the picks, so we absolutely will go into the picks in a little bit. We have to cover Coach Gundy at Oklahoma State getting fired. That's a big one. James Conner got injured, season-ending injury. And then, of course, we have to go into everything with the AP poll. That's an important thing. The game I went to on Monday, that's another thing that we need to talk about. And then the NFL. I know a lot of you guys are wondering, who do we end up picking up? We're going into the fantasy football waiver wires. So hopefully if you're listening to this live, you will be able to catch it before you end up having to put in all your picks. I know right now it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I'm doing this live. So for some of you all, it's 7, 8, whatsoever. First thing I want to end up touching on is Coach Gundy. He was there, they said, for 30 plus years, and you fire him in the middle of the season. That's one of those things of, I get the season's not going well, but don't fire him during the middle of the season. That's not how you end up doing someone that gave so much to that program in various different ways. So I personally am not a fan of that. I wouldn't recommend that for a lot of teams to end up doing that. That's the first one I had to get off my plate. The second one is Bruce Arians, so former coach of multiple different teams in the NFL. He is going to help the Virginia Tech Hokies with their search to find their next head coach. This is something I would say is big, given the expertise that Bruce Arians does have. Super Bowl winning champion as well. I think that can help Virginia Tech. I do have some ties to Virginia Tech. I have friends that nephews that are on the team. So that is a program that I am familiar with. They did lose 3 times to ODU, so got to give it out to the Monarchs on that one. I want to go into everything that happened with college football, what is going to come up, some of the big things that Steven's looking forward to as well. But we have to touch on AP Top 25. So Week 5 did come out September 21st. That was 2 days ago. Number 1, we have Ohio State, 2, Miami, 3, Penn State, 4, LSU, 5, Georgia, 6, Oregon. So we have a 3-6 matchup that'll happen on Saturday. 7, the Sooners, 8, Florida State Seminoles, 9, Texas A&M, 10, Texas, 11, Indiana, 12, Texas Tech. Texas got a good time right now. 13, Ole Miss, 14, Iowa State, 15, Rock Chalks with the Tennessee Volunteers. 16, Georgia Tech, 17, Roll Tide, 18, them Vanderbilt Commodores, 19, the Wolverines of Michigan, 20, the Tigers of Missouri, 21, Trojans, USC, 22, Notre Dame, and they only have 1 win. Crazy. The Fighting Illini is at 23, Texas Christian University in Abilene. Number 24, TCU, and then 25 is BYU. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 teams from Texas that are in it. So shout out to you guys for all that you're doing down there in Texas. I know it's a big ass state, so that does play a part in it. The first thing I do want to bring up is some things that we've been noticing over on the Heisman Trophy list. I already brought up what's happening at Oklahoma State. I brought up what's happening at Virginia Tech. The next thing just to end up mentioning for everyone is the Heisman Trophy odds after 4 weeks. So Indiana's Fernando Mendoza is plus 650 odds. Of course, this always changes. Dante Moore at Oregon is plus 1,200. Carson Beck is plus 1,200, which is funny. Gunnar Stockton is plus 1,400, and Marcel Reed plus 1,500. Josh Hoover is plus 1,500. Joey Aguilar is plus 1,500. Garrett Nussmeier is plus 1,500. Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin are both plus 1,600 and plus 1,700. Straight quarterbacks and one wide receiver. This will continue to change, but that's something that you do need to end up being mindful of. I'm looking forward to talking with Steven next week just to get his thoughts on all of this. The other one is just looking at where is it? Oh, the national championship odds. So Ohio State has plus 550 odds. Penn State is plus 600. The Bulldogs are 700. So you have Bulldogs, Texas, Oregon are all plus 700. LSU is plus 1,000. Another part they were starting to talk about is the amount of money that are going to these different teams from the transfer portal, and those teams are undefeated right now. So that's something else to just look out for and pay attention to. Games that are happening this upcoming weekend, it is something that we all want to end up paying attention to. Something else that's happening is Florida State versus Virginia is on Friday. TCU, Arizona State is Friday. And then your Saturday games, of course, you have that big one, Oregon against Penn State. That's a major one. Notre Dame, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Illinois, USC, Washington versus Ohio State, Mississippi State versus Tennessee, and then Alabama, Georgia. There's 2 games at 7:30. That's going to be crazy having Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon, Penn State, both at night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time games, ABC and NBC. Huge games for both of them. So congrats on that one. This is a battle of a couple of undefeated teams. Alabama's not undefeated, but that's always a big game. I know Steven's rooting for Penn State through and through. I know he's going to be at that game, so that's a big one that I do want to end up talking to him about and just hearing his thoughts on that one when it does come out. So don't want to waste too much more time talking on that side. I know the big thing that a lot of people always come here for is the NFL side of things. And there's a couple of things that I want to just bring up to start. So James Conner did get injured. So if any of you have early waiver spots, Trey Benson's going to absolutely be a stash pickup. You're going to be able to play him right away. The next one is Justin Fields. So he had a concussion last week. They don't play until Monday, so the injury report for him is not going to be out till a little bit later in the week. Usually it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You'll hear the injury report, but it won't be till Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday is when you'll get the injury report for them over there. The next one, Jackson Dart. If you have a dynasty or if you have different keeper leagues, he probably is one that you want to end up keeping, just holding on to. You don't know what's going to happen with that team. Now you have Cam Scatterbo, who's basically taking over the backfield. You have Jackson Dart, and you have Malik Neighbors. If they can all click and get together, that's a solid team. And we'll see where it ends up going on that side of things. That's absolutely not my player. The next player I want to end up bringing up, if you can find the Colts Schrader, the kicker, he's been one that's been coming through for a lot of people too. As long as the Colts are doing well, he's going to do well. Another one to pick up to pay attention to is Trey Tucker. So Trey Tucker, the first game of the season, he had 2 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown. He is touchdown dependent. I will end up letting you know this now because he had 12 points that game. And then the recent game, he had 36.9 points. And that was 8 receptions, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns against the Commanders in the loss. Another person to pay attention to, I would say, is Tyquan Thornton, who has started to emerge as number 1 receiver for the Chiefs. I don't know how this is going to end up playing a factor when Rashee Rice gets back, but until Rashee Rice does come back, Tyquan Thornton is one. He's continued to increase his fantasy football points each week. First week 5, then 12, then 15.6. First game, 2 receptions, 41 yards, 2 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Last game, 5 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown. So he's continued to end up progressing. So Tyquan Thornton is one. Of course, Trey Tucker is another. And then if you want to go on the kicking side of things, Spencer Schrader for the Indianapolis Colts is another smart pickup that you can end up using. The next thing I would end up recommending and let everyone know about is the Cowboys offense. So CeeDee Lamb is injured. It's already been confirmed. They're trying to figure out if he's going to end up going on the IR. And either way, George Pickens is the number one now. So if you have him, please start him. Next one is trying to figure out who's going to be the number 2 receiver over there. Another receiver that he's in a very crammed group would be Luther Burden. So you have Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, and then DJ Moore. Luther Burden did have a solid game last game. If you just listen to some of his numbers, first game, 1 reception,